In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a set of sheets like this using PowerPoint. Now let me start with a new page. So we can start with the frame. Use Insert, Shape, use this rectangle, and just draw a rectangle here. And then in here, what you could do is to use the format and change the fill to no fill. The frame, I want to use black color. I can actually make it thicker. And I can copy it by holding Control key, move this over, so there will be a two rectangle now. I can make it smaller, so I can get the frame like this. Then we can make it bigger a little bit, and then I'm going to repeat that. And I can repeat this. Just copy one more time. Then you can get a title block like this. And then all you have to do, you can actually repeat this again. Again, hold the Control key. I can make this frame like this, highlight it and move a little lower so I can have everything on this line, just a little lower, something like this. Now I want to add text, so to add text in here, so you can tool numbers. So you can add T1 equal ½ inch or 2-inch face mill. So you can add this. Now this is more important, is to draw the vise or draw any holding mechanism. So either you draw a fixture or vise. So you can do the same thing by insert. I'm going to use rectangle. Now I'm going to keep this color this time. So that's the back of the vise. Copy it. Now this is the jar. I can make it in black. I copy it. Again, hold the Control key. Click on this part, hold the Control key. Make it a little longer. So you can actually move this up or down. It doesn't really matter. And then I can create a handle and also the back of the handle, something like this. So that will be the device with the handle. Now this is the top view. I can draw the front view. The front view, very simple. I can actually copy this. Again, hold the Control key, move this down, move this up. So this is the front view. Now obviously the scale, you have to change it. If you have a big drawing, make your make big parts, make your vise smaller. You can scale everything down a little bit by selecting everything, just scale a little bit in like this, and then but you just have to move them. Now it is important to have the vise line up like you following the orthographic projections. So do not place your vise something like this or something like that, because the top view and the front view, they should not be placed like that. You should follow the orthographic projection that the top view should be above the top of the front view. If you wanted to have the side view, it will look something different. So if this is a side view, we can do the same thing. Let me move this everything over here. If I want to have the side view, I can copy it, but this time I don't need the whole thing. This is the base of the vise. And this is pretty much just the handle. Something like this. Now that's the side view of the vise. So now assuming I have a drawing. So I'm going to show you a drawing. Say I have this drawing and I want to put it on the vise. So all you have to do is to use the either print screens or snipping tool on your Windows program, the Windows OS get snipping tool. There are other ways to do it. You can use print screens. I'm not sure the Mac there is another function also like a print screen, so you can get that screen and then you can edit it in PowerPoint. So let's say I'm going to purposely make it bigger so that feel like you are using print screen. Print screen actually is the whole screen, but snipping tool you can use just a small portion of the screen. So I get that. Now I can place it in here, Control V. So this is the drawing. Now because I don't need these in here, all I have to do is to crop it. And don't worry about the little gray area. So you get this drawing. Now I can scale it down. It's something like this. Or obviously if you want to make it in scale, if this part is this big, you should make this parts that big. And actually you have to move everything accordingly. Now, so that will be your top view, side view, actually the side view of the top. So this is, if you're doing it this way, this is your front view and this is your side view. If you do it this way, that's most likely your front view and that's your top view. So it really doesn't matter. All you need is just showing people how you hold this part. You can use this part, it doesn't matter. But it's important to show this view because you want to see the parts where the X, Y, 0 is. Now to do this part to indicate the XY0 and also to indicate the size of the block. So you have to draw lines. You can do the arrows. So that's the size of the arrow. And if you want to use the text box, you can create the size. This is 5 inch. Actually, I will do another line in here. That could be 4 inch. And then in the bottom, assuming this is a rectangle, in the bottom you can do the same thing in here, but instead of copying from the image that you may not have, you can create a rectangle like this. Now keep in mind this line should be the same width. Don't draw something like this because this is not matching. And I'm going to use clear this time and go something like this. Now it is important to show how much this is holding. So if this is the whole thing is 2 inches or 1 inch, so you will need to specify what they are. So you can show it in here by copying this too. I'm going to use these dimensions. So you indicate the block is 1.5 inch, for example. So this block is 1.5 inch. Now I don't have enough room. Probably I will have to get rid of this side views because I want to use these two views instead. So in here I have the whole block is 1.5 inch, but I'm going to hold it for 1/2 inch. So what I have to do is to draw a line to indicate where they are. So I can go do like this. I can move this over. So I'm going to move 0.5 inch right here. So this way you can tell the machinist you are holding this part. The part is 1.5 inch thick. You're holding 1/2 inch. Now the other thing is the XY0. I'm going to copy this circle, make it slightly smaller, and give it a color so that you know this is different. Formats, something like this. I can put this. So depending on the zeros, let's see, go back to the MasterCAM drawing. Now let's say right now in here, that's your 0. So this part, this here, that's your machine 0. So your X0, Y0 is going to be right here, this corner. So this means that I will need to create the XY0 right here. So if I have that, now I can indicate the XY0. So I can indicate it in here. X0, Y0. And give an arrow to it. It's the other way around. So that will be my X0, Y0. And similarly, your Z0, depending on where your Z0 is. If the Z0 is right on the top, if the Z0 is on the top, you can actually write it right here. That's your Z0. You don't even need this line. So this will be your Z0. You can actually do this, or you can put as long as you have to indicate, you can use the arrow, you can use the circle as well. So that will be your Z0. Now, it is sometimes you want to make this lower, the Z0 a little bit lower, because you want to face the top surface. If that happens, don't use this circle, don't use the lines. What happens is that you will need to make another line, something like this. That will be your Z0. However, what you have to do instead is to give the dimensions. So you have C0, and then you can say this is 30 thousandths or 20 thousandths below the top surface. And for that, if that happens, you might want to indicate to the machinist that the parts got to be certain height from the 0, not necessarily from the top of the parts. So this means this 1.5 might not be valid for that case, because sometimes this block might come in 1.49, might come in 1.485, but you can still use it. So for that reason, you can actually make this line up to the 0. So this, for this part right now, let's say 1.47. So from the bottom to this is 1.47, and then so basically we will tell the machinist that this is the bare minimum for their parts. And then everything else that you're going to machine, it could be 30,000, it could be 40,000, but I just need this here, at least 1.47. If this, if you set it up right, even 10,000 in here or 5,000 in here could be enough for that to clean the surface. So now so if you use this side, you can do that too. So obviously you don't have enough room. I'm going to make this lower. So if I have this, I will have to change this. Now this is a lot easier to see on the side view because you know where this 0.5 is. If you look at the side view, it looks something like this. And then you can indicate these numbers. Now you can say, I can copy this. This is 1.5 before, right? I can do that. And actually I want to copy this. So if I want to copy this, let's just start with this line. And then similarly for the Z0. So that will be my Z0. I will go from here, and then that will be my Z0. And then you can indicate how much the Z0 is from the top surface. So you can say this is 20,000 from the top surface, this will be 1.48, and then you can also indicate how much it's holding. So you can draw another, so this is 1/2 inch from this here to that. So I can copy another line. In here. So what I can do is to do it an arrow like this. And format. Change the arrows. So I can actually have two different views for that. Even the side view or the bottom view. Either way is fine. So you just need two views, either these two or these two, to show how you mount it, how this part is sits where the X0, Y0, Z0, and obviously you want to put some parallel underneath in here if this is the side, this view. Now, again, all this is very important. Is in scale. It is not a requirement that it is perfect scale. You just have at least some common sense that if 4 inch should be shorter than 5 inch. 1.4 inch, it should be shorter than these two. So when you create this in PowerPoint, all you have to do is to save it, and then when you are taking your exam for the midterm or final exams, all you have to do is to bring this and remove this to drawing, insert the new drawing in, and adjust these variables, adjust these dimensions where the 0 is. Sometimes depending on the part, the the 0 could be right in the middle of that drawing, and then or the 0 could be right here in this corner. So all you have to do is to move these zeros and then change these parameters, and then also modify the size of this block and change these dimensions, and that's just it. And then and also edit the two numbers, the two descriptions, and then your part numbers and all that. So once you have this saved, you can use it over and over, and very simple to copy the image from MasterCAM or any CAD files using the print screen functions. Or even you can even draw it in here if this is the initial parts. If this is the beginning, let's say for an initial stock, it looks something like this when there's no parts in there. Now when this drawing right now is hiding, so what you have to do is to right click, send this drawing to back so you can see these parts. So I have to move this over. So this is how we can use PowerPoint to create your setup sheets.